Sasa ana replay hiyo kitu ndio sasa ibaki hiyo tu ready for speech.
that are here. I want to welcome our leaders in the prayer section led by the Imam, then it will be followed by the Bishop, Pentecostal, and the priest from the Catholic Church if they're here.
Rahim, kwa jina la Mwenyezi Mungu mwingi wa rehema mwenye walimwengu wote, mwingi wa rehema mwenye kuturehemu, mfalme wa siku ya malipo. Kwako wewe Mwenyezi Mungu tunakuabudu, na kwako wewe Mwenyezi Mungu tunakutaka msaada. Tuongoze njia ambayo kwamba uliongoza wale uliowaneemesha, wala sio wale ulipotea. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakuomba kwa unyenyekevu mkuu kikao hiki maalum cha bunge letu hili tukufu la Busia, tushie hekima, busara, utulivu na ujasiri kufahamu ya kwamba hotuba itakayotolewa leo ni hotuba muhimu, ikitolewa na mheshimiwa gavana wetu kaunti yetu akiwa na utulivu. Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa wale wenye amani uwape utulivu na uwape mwongozo, tupe amani, upendo na umoja kwenye kaunti yetu, na ufahamu wa kutambua ya kwamba heshima yote ya kimaisha wanayopitia ili wapate pasina upendeleo. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, wabariki wananchi wote wa nchi yetu tukufu ya Kenya na kutubu dhambi zetu. Mwenyezi Mungu, tuomba na mengi kwa majina yako matukufu tukisema amen.
Kwamba tunaungana pamoja na viongozi wetu wote kuweza kusemezana na kaunti yetu. Tukushukuru kwa ajili ya gavana wetu mpendwa ambao ulimchagua wewe mwenyewe kwa ajili, pamoja na naibu wake na county assembly members wote, mawaziri wote, chief officers wote, kuhakikisha kwamba maono aliyo nayo kwa ajili ya kaunti yetu yanakuja kupatikana. Mfalme wa falme na wote unatoka kwako. Kwa hivyo hao wote ambao tuko nao hapa, ifanye kaunti yetu pawe mahali pa kutamanika. Baba, Mungu umetupa kuongoza, mfalme wa falme, katika kaunti hii na katika maisha yetu kwa ujumla. Naomba mfalme ufunue akili na watu wengine wakiona jinsi imenawiri, kwa kuwa Jehova, naomba haya yote nikiamini katika jina la Yesu Kristo.
In the name of the Father, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord God, we gather here this afternoon that you may lead us in this moment. We may find the gifts and the talents that you have. It pleased you to give your people without guidance, without assistance. They are to us in this county of Busia. May you talk to them that with a lot of diligence, duties honorably, with a lot of love, for the growth and development. May assist all communities which they have their aspirations come out clear to be for the good of. And the people they live have also their demands and aspirations, some which are very heavy. This session of the governor's address in one piece, to love and serve one another. Right? We can be seated.
Your Excellency the Governor, Your Excellency the Deputy Governor, CEC's Chief Officers present, Head of Government Departmentals, Honorable Members, I welcome you all to the 11th sitting of the 4th session of the 3rd County Assembly. Today, Wednesday, 5th March 30 p.m. Clerk, read out the order paper.
By Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Your Excellency the Governor, Excellency the Deputy Governor, CEC's Chief Officers, Honorable Members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Great honor and privilege that I stand before you on this 5th day of March to welcome and express our appreciation for your continued commitment to the development of our county. I also take this opportunity to reflect on the strides of Busia County since the inception of this assembly. We have remained as outlined under Article 185 of the Constitution of Kenya and Section 8 of the County Government Acts. Our core functions, legislation and oversight. These have been the bedrock of our efforts to foster the well-being of the people of Busia. Over the past year, this assembly has recorded significant achievements in legislation. We have diligently debated and passed critical bills that address the pressing needs of our people. These bills include FIF Act. It addresses matters to do with health. There is a FLOCA Fund regulation and County Emergency Funds regulation. We also have the County Sexual Gender-Based Violence Policy 2023, which put Busia among the top 3 assemblies to ever put that kind of legislation in place. We are also developing other bills for the sole purposes of making sure that delivery of health, agriculture, education and infrastructure sector that grow our backbone within the economy are strong and social in the fabric sector. This House is also in the process of enacting Busia County policy, which aims at protecting the children against any form of exploitation. We hope that this policy will be enacted and will be in place by the end of this session that we are in. Numerous reports that provide a roadmap for sustainable development and accountability in use of public resources. Tireless efforts have ensured that the voices of our constituencies are heard and acted upon. Your Excellency, as we move forward, I wish to assure you of this Assembly's unwavering commitment to the collaboration with the executive arm of the county government. We recognize that the progress of Busia County laws and policies that advance our shared visions, However, Your Excellency, even as we commit to do the collaboration, this assembly will remain steadfast in the I reaffirm this assembly dedication to its oversight mandate transparently for the benefit of our citizens. Our oversight committees will remain here. We stand ready to engage with your administration. Let us continue to work as a united front. Next order, clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, and the Chief Officers and all staff of the county, executive, distinguished guests, elected and with confidence, shortly demonstrate to you through this address the state of our county for our people. Mr. Speaker, as I 2J and 32K of the county government dictating and driving the realization of the development agenda of my administration. Speaker, in delivering this county address, I'll be reporting on measures taken. Speaker, I wish to methodically highlight achievements of my administration working through various. As you are all aware, the founding fathers of this nation, of our independence by our to fight ignorance, disease, and poverty. Those were the three main clarion calls of our founding fathers. And as we stand here today, we cannot speak like people who have got no history, no culture, no agenda, no nation. We stand here. We have got a nation. Mr. Speaker, let me speak about education because this is the most important enabler. One of the fundamental calls of our founding fathers. Mr. Speaker, sir, on February 15th last year, during the delivery of the State of County Address in this very assembly, I with honorable members various development initiatives in the education sector, including the provision of hot meals for early childhood education learners in the school feeding program, which is supposed to benefit over 50,000. Just figures, these are our children. This is our future. 50,000 of them. Mr. Speaker, as I speak today, we had 460 the county. And there is an ongoing program to even expand that much more. This initiative has markedly been improved attendance and retention and overall health among our young health school population. Notably, the rice utilized under this program is sourced locally from our farmers in the sub-county of Bunyala, which is also fostering economic growth. Mr. Speaker, in pursuit of creating this conducive learning environment, the department has planned to construct more ECD classrooms. Statistics indicate that currently we have got 269 ECD classes constructed over the last 10 years against the student population of 50,000, which additionally 120 centers do not have that have been constructed within that period. It is therefore the budget appropriation for ECD classes was removed. It is therefore the intention of my administration to prioritize construction of the county, and I'll be targeting the world-best allocation. I'm saying this, why? 50,000 students and even the country recommendation of 50 students per classroom, we should be having 50,000 divided by 50 is 1,000. We cannot stand before here and before the nation and say that in the 69 classrooms against our need classrooms. We are now midterm. We are not just here to provide leadership. We are here to oversight. We are here that in the last 12 years, we have only constructed 269. 50 students per classroom is 1,000. My dear members, the solution does not lie with anybody. I'll be coming back to this house with very aggressive. The most important period of any child is the first 6 months. The most important period of any child is the first 6 months. First of all, in the womb of the mother, and some of you, we had a meeting about that. And secondly, is the first 6 months of the existence in this world. We are not going to make decisions based on ignorance. We are going to make decisions that are informed by technical academic results that have been proven. I'm dwelling on this point a little bit much more because I'm equally disappointed with myself that I allowed myself to sign a budget that wiped out the construction of ECD classrooms. And I've been scolded all over by all those institutions that I have told you. The InfoTrack report is there, and I have told my county secretary that we are going to have a meeting with you people to share the detailed report which we want to purchase. The peer report from NEPAD, which is also chaired by the son of this soil, my predecessor, His Excellency Ojamong, is the chair of NEPAD. But the technical report there reports the same thing that was reported by InfoTrack. The same report is what the Commission on Revenue Allocation has shared with us. The same report is what the Control of Budget has shared with us. We have no excuse. It is all not lost. We can correct this. I saw in our neighboring county of Homa Bay, they constructed 168 classrooms in 3 months. It is possible. We can correct this thing. And we can put our education and ECD agenda back on track through your collaboration and through the executive. I've spent a little bit time there because the future is about our children, it's not about ourselves. I want to say, during also this period, we allocated 135.3 million shillings on the education support scheme. You know, county-wide. Of course, the initiative includes bursaries worth almost 117 million shillings, assisting 27,000 students. Additionally, in partnership with the Higher Education Loans Board, the scheme provides for sustainable aid to our students in the higher learning institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, this particular investment demonstrates our commitment in improving enrollment and retention rates by alleviating financial barriers for a brighter and needy students. As I said, there were 3 clarion calls. One of them was to fight ignorance. If today we want to expand that or redefine it, it's within our mandate. But as it stands today, I still see it as still a noble calling. I know that very well, members. We have got challenges. The control of budget has said that this is not our function. But luckily for Busia County, we had something that was passed by this noble house about what I have just said, education support scheme. The only thing we need to do is to relook at it and see how best we can align it with the Constitution and the law. It is not my intention to stop this activity. And I don't think we are going to stop it. We will have to read the law in detail to know that as a government, if there is need from our people to support them, to fight ignorance through education, what do we need to do to make sure that we are able to fulfill our obligations without being limited by people quoting to us that the law says that this is a national government function, because there is no human being that belongs to national government or county government. All human beings are human beings. They have got needs, they have got blood, they are not items. They are creations of the Almighty God. So, we will continue with this educational support scheme, regardless of the current debates that are going on. That one is a decision I have made through my executive committee that tutaendelea to ensure is okay. To ensure that the children don't remain home. And most of you know that as we speak here today, this is one of the most serious issues that we are facing. Children are being chased away from schools, they're at home, and yet the clarion call was to fight ignorance. Some of them, like we say we do lifestyle audits. I don't think that their parents have deliberately decided that they don't want to pay school fees for their children. It is just unfortunate that they cannot afford. And we are not going to allow any child to be left behind. It is our duty, both yourselves and the executive, that even within the existing law, if they want us to fast track what we need to amend, we'll be bringing it to this August House to make sure that it is amended, but it is our social responsibility to help vulnerable members of our society. So I want to state categorically in this address that Busia County will be assisting those children who are unable to pay school fees, whom their parents are not able to pay school fees. And we will do this without blinking an eye. And I think we are within the law, because this is a social obligation. If it is not going to be an educational issue, it will be a social obligation to take care of the problems that we are facing. That's why we formed devolved units, to address specific issues of each devolved unit. Honorable members, we must also legislate to fix these problems, as I have said, and so many others that need to be legislated on
to align our county's constitutional social protection mandate, which according to Article 43 guarantees every person the right to education and obligates both the levels of government to provide social protection to those unable to support themselves. So we'll be looking at Article 43 of our Constitution. But members, we must still move on. We cannot afford to let any member of ourselves to be left behind. Separately, in the strategic move to enhance youth employment, we have also partnered with the Kenya Commercial Bank Foundation, their Tuajiri program, which is also helping us by investing together with us. And so far we have trained 513 youths over 6 months across 14 vocational training centers. These are the first cohorts of graduates who graduated in 2024. So the educational sector, we have agreed with you that we need retention, we need our ECDs, and we need our vocational training centers to support our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, our commitment to 15 level 3 facilities and 72 level 2 facilities, in alignment with our vision of fostering healthy, productive, and internationally competitive county, we have undertaken several key projects, but even national. 4 hospitals and established X-ray units in Port Victoria and Ambale hospitals. Additionally, a 24-bed capacity unit in Budalangi Health Center and a female ward in Matayos hospitals have been completed, alongside several laboratories and maternity units across the county. Notably, in collaboration with the M-Pesa Foundation, we have constructed a modern maternity unit at Nasewa Health Center in Matayos sub-county, expected to benefit approximately 12,000 people. Mr. Speaker, sir, the capabilities, thanks to the procurement of advanced medical equipment, including eye care tonometer, ultrasound machines, diagnostic tools, notably the installation of viral load machine in Busia County Referral Hospital now supports HIV diagnosis for Busia and neighboring counties, while an HB electrophoresis machine aids in the management of sickle cell disease. And I think we are the first ones in this region. Yet we don't appreciate this. All of you know the challenge that we are facing with sickle cells. And we are the first county to do this HB electrophoresis machine that aids in the management of sickle cell diseases. If you have been parents and you have been visited by sickle cell, you know what I'm talking about. Our networks of 2,190 equipped community health promoters, that is the CHPs, have been instrumental in delivering preventative and primary health care services. My administration has also taken effective malaria control and prevention measures, including indoor residual spraying of our households and distribution of insecticide-treated nets. Through these targeted interventions, we have achieved a remarkable reduction in malaria incidences, decreasing from 763 cases per 1,000 people in December 2023 to 517 per 1,000 in June 2024. And I have visited some of you and you told me this program has been okay, it should continue. On the issue of malaria cases. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is not to say that all is rosy in the health sector. All is not rosy. There is growing concern over inefficient drugs in some of our facilities. Some have attributed this to disturbing trend that alleged collision amongst our staff or gaps in the distribution of drugs and medical equipment. We are committed to addressing these challenges through provision of adequate budgets to the departments and improving supply chain function and ensure constant supply of our drugs. Additionally, I'm glad to advise that following the operationalization of the FIF Act, that is the Facility Improvement Fund Act, service delivery has been improved as some facilities are now able to access funds more easily and purposes for their operations. This FIF, you know the journey you have taken, and I want to thank this House for having passed it. The issue is how now we effectively operationalize it to sort out our problems. And I've told my team that this is not rocket science. We can learn this from other counties that have done it. We know counties that were in a very dear situation like ours, but they have changed their fortunes. They are able to collect money, reinvest money back in the health sector, and move forward. Unfortunately for Busia, we have got the highest number of strikes in the Republic of Kenya. Yet, as the executive, we also have got the highest number of remedial measures that we have put in place to address the historical issues. So sometimes I ask my people, when you go to our neighboring counties, what are they doing to address the issues? But how come they're able to deliver services? How come they're able to implement the programs? But here, I can tell you members, it is almost tantamount to sabotage. And very soon, we will have to take this thing to the arena of the people of Busia. Because we cannot allow, we will not allow to be held at ransom by very few people. Because go to Bungoma, go to Siaya. Where have they implemented the programs we are doing? We have said you are not promoted for the last 8 years. We are doing it. We are saying you have not been paid your arrears. This assembly has allocated resources. We have said we need to look at rationalization in terms of training. This House has been supportive to allocate resources for us to do that. Yet, we have had the highest number of strikes. I want you, your committee, the health committee, to go to the neighboring counties and see what they have done compared to what Busia has done. Yet they are growing their revenue. Homa Bay were 200 million in health. They raised 700 million shillings by implementing the FIF. I was in Makueni. They are doing 500 million by implementing FIF, which they started in 2014 during Governor Kibwana's time. But Busia here today, members, please, let's be patriotic. Let's take charge of the destiny of our people. We cannot allow saboteurs to subject our people to blackmail. Because we have done what we can do. You are the ones who allocate resources. We said there was under budgeting. We said let's allocate resources. We removed the resources from other areas. But we are the first one at the slightest provocation not to offer services to the people of Busia. It will not be acceptable. I've decided that this year we are going to take this to the court of the people of Busia so that they also know what is happening. You have passed FIF here. Now, if we don't give FIF opportunity to work, how will we get anything out of it? Everything is negative, negative, negative. It's not acceptable. Because we are toying with the lives of our people and we are representatives. So my administration is committed to addressing the issues that are facing the health sector, which are basically include severe staff shortage, inherited under budgeting of personnel emoluments to a tune of almost 700 million shillings. We have brought this thing to this house. It is you to look at it. Where is this 700 million shillings going to come from? under budgeting over the years. And the people who have been solving these problems are the same ones who are bringing us problems. 700 million shillings, where are we going to get it? It is you to tell us, you are the ones who appropriate. Yet every day people walk around here making noise and our people are dying. It will not be acceptable. Failure to effect staff promotions over a long period, over 10 years. The other day when we tried to do it, the budget was promotions alone 174 million. Replacements alone over 200 million. And the Public Service Board went ahead because they were told these are just replacements. But when they went and did advertisements and did everything, we could not implement because the money was not there. Because of these problems of under budget. Because that was 774 for promotion. 100 million for those whom the courts had stopped to pay their salaries. Yet, in good we took ourselves to court to do arbitration. And we said, okay, we can pay 100 million and work progressive. So 100 plus 174 plus the 200, that alone is 400 million. Before even moving forward, those are just to correct the historical issues. And yet we are the ones who appropriate. Tell us where this money is going to come from. Which of course led to failure to replace staff that exited over a very long period of time. The staff that exited alone, their budget is over 200 million. Over 200 million. We need that money. Not to grow, to just replace those ones that left. Now, these frequent strikes, we need to ask ourselves, is it better somebody who is trying to do something to solve the problem, or people who have refused? Yet our neighboring counties, we don't see this. We don't see this in Bungoma. They have grown their revenue from 300 million when we came in. They are now almost also at 700. Homa Bay has grown, Siaya has grown. What is unique about Busia? What is so unique? These frequent strikes, we need solutions. Because the same people who are striking were the ones who are there. As the political class, we were just elected 2 to 3 years ago. Now, when we are trying to address the issues, you don't want us to address the issues. And this Busia County has got people who belong to this county historically, which we should not allow the kind of sabotage that we are seeing. Because other people are solving problems and moving on, as people don't want us to solve our problems. You try to solve our problems, strike. You try to do this, strike. So if you don't give services, you are past the FIF. If you are not giving services, how will the FIF help us? And the major role of this assembly, as we have said, is oversight. Oversight and making laws. This is not just the executive's matter alone. It is our matter. So my administration is determined to address all of the above challenges while keeping an eye on the high wage bill percentage, currently at 42.7% against the recommended 35%, in line with the recommendation of the wage bill conference. And we even committed ourselves that we will work towards that. But how will that happen? The matter that our institutions were neglected and under budgeted over a period of time. So for us to correct that, Mr. Speaker, sir, for us to achieve this, we must work together. Let us be encouraged by the inspiring story of the hummingbird, as told by our own Professor Wangari Maathai, the first African woman to win the coveted Nobel Prize. The tale of the hummingbird that helps us to put our forest fire with its own tiny beak by collecting drops of water from the nearby rivers as bigger animals, including elephants, watch cluelessly reminds us that even in the face of immense adversity, we can still make a difference, individually or collectively. Indeed, small actions can make a big difference, which is why I want to appeal to each one of us to make their contribution towards addressing the challenges that we stand in our service delivery. Dear members, Busia belongs to us. Nobody will come to solve our problems. Even despite all the noise you are hearing, the Almighty God has given you the privilege to be at the right place at the right time. Currently, you are the honorable members of the County Assembly of Busia. It is within your mandate to help us solve this problem. That's what Wangari Maathai is saying. You don't need to be an elephant. You can just be a tiny hummingbird. But how you legislate here, how you pass the laws here, how you represent here, how you oversight the executive can help us make the difference. And now we are mid-term. We are mid-term. We are almost halfway. Please let's be patriotic to our people. We can speak our political differences, but remember at the end of the day it's about our people. It's our people. It's about Busia County. How do we make Busia a better county? That is what is before us. There's nothing else. You have been given opportunity to sit in this privileged position. What difference are you making? Is your only difference to criticize, to talk in funerals, to do what? Or is it to offer solutions? That's what we are saying. That's what Wangari Maathai is saying. The hummingbird is a very small thing, but it can go and carry a drop of water to try and put out the fire. Yet there are elephants that can suck a lot of water, but they are just there watching. The best they can do is run away when the fire reaches. Let us not behave in that manner. And health is the elephant in the room. If we solve health, we solve our revenue issues, we solve our health delivery issues, and that is almost 50%. If you look at counties that have done well, it's through health. In my previous life, I used to categorize even HR issues with health, because I used to say it's only a healthy person that can work, that can do something. So I used to consider health to be part of HR in my previous life. That's how I advised my development officers, that if our population is not healthy, how will they deliver? They can't work, they can't do anything. Majority of the productive people will be unwell, they cannot work. That's how I thought about it. And I don't think I was wrong. In my last 20 years of public engagement, I don't think I was wrong. Because it has been proven over time that healthy people are the ones that deliver. Mr. Speaker, sir, let us turn to trade. When I look at the leadership mantle of this county in 2022 September, top on our priority list was economic prosperity. Trade is one of the key drivers of our economy, and we designed appropriate and highly intentional avenues for realizing this crucial goal. Recognizing that the robust market infrastructure is the backbone of economic activities, we have undertaken several initiatives to modernize and expand trading space. Since this is where primary trade begins, in partnership with the national government, we are constructing 11 modern markets under the economic stimulus program. Notably, the construction of Sioport, Bumala, Korinda, and Ngurai markets is currently underway, promising to boost local commerce upon completion. My administration is also pursuing the construction of the Malaba modern market, which has already been advertised at the cost of 400 million shillings. The procurement process of the contractor is underway. However, the construction faces challenges revolving around land ownership, for which I will be seeking the support of the County Assembly to appropriate funds for land acquisitions. We are also determined to construct the trailer parks for Malaba and Busia municipalities, which are necessary in making the county a logistics hub. This, my dear friends, when we talk about backward integration and value addition, you cannot produce. The biggest problem is not that our people are lazy. The biggest problem is that sometimes our people make attempts, but when they try to get their products into the markets, they cannot break even. They are struggling. And it is the responsibility of government and the people's representatives to ensure that what we produce is able to get markets. Today the world is suffering from food deficit. So nobody can tell you that when you are producing food that it has no market. It is just an issue about market organization. And as government, it is our responsibility to help our people. You have seen times when trucks come here and pick commodity, maize, what? Then within another 1 or 2 months they come and sell those same products at 2 or 3 times the price. Just because they are not organized. In the US is what they call insider trading. Because you know the prices will go high very soon. So you come and acquire and just return the same thing. There's nothing else you are doing. And yet we are leaders in our time. Martin Luther King once said, if the Almighty God asked me which time is here I want to live, he said, I will want to live at this particular time, so that I can be able to sort out the problems of this time. Honorable members, it's not a guesswork that people elected you. It's not a guesswork that you are given opportunity to be members of this house. It's a sacred calling. That one day you'll go out of here and it will be interred in the memory of this house that you made a difference in the lives of the people of this county and this country. So, when we talk about these markets, today technology has availed a lot of opportunities for us. You can be here and sell your products anywhere. That's why we are putting, in every market we are putting what we are calling a technology hub. So that we are able to communicate anywhere and sell your products. But we also say, can you imagine you want to sell your products in Dubai and somebody is seeing you seated in a dusty place on a pavement, on a road pavement? We said that can't work. That's why we say we must build at least what we are calling economic stimulus. I was privileged to be part of the economic committee when we were coming up with that program of economic stimulus in 2008. I was a member of the Economic Council of Kenya. And I can tell you this is what happened in Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam. Why is it that theirs has worked and ours has not worked? It is you members again who can make it work by holding the executive to the account, by making the right laws, and by oversighting. And it is possible. We have also similarly completed the renovations of Busia Municipal Market, Soko Posta, to provide traders with improved and secure environmental issues, and I have again told my department to make sure that that is happening. Again, as ward representatives, you had me speak and domesticate and even legalize the ward-based economic revitalization program, which was part of my manifesto, but later which we put in the CIDP to legalize it so that you can allocate resources. So when we talk about ward-based, sometimes I get baffled that we are not thinking that the resources that we are allocating to the wards is to try and help the rural economies. You still find people's representatives, they want to subject themselves to be captives of very junior officers in the executive because they want to forget their role of oversight. Because if you are playing a role of oversight, you are the boss. You are the boss. Because people are supreme under our constitution. So sometimes when I hear that we go through some of the challenges that we go through because of very junior officers, I get surprised. Because what we have said, it is word-based. The law does not recognize ward fund, but we say it's an administrative issue. We have allocated 700 million shillings to the wards, which is almost 40% of our budget, development budget. If you look at it, it is more than CDF budget in the whole of Busia County, because these MPs, they get around 100, some 150. But why should people be talking about CDF projects and they are not talking about ward projects? Members, it is up to us. I've sat where you are sitting. I'm not in the executive today because I have never been where you are. I've also been a representative, and I understand. When we give you 700 million shillings, but we are not giving you, because we know that's not your role, but we are telling you we have got this program of 700 million shillings where you can play a role in deciding, how development should take place in your area. If you look at that amount in the 7 sub-counties, it's equal to CDF allocation. So when people talk about CDF and we cannot talk about ward-based allocation development, I get surprised that we ourselves can go to funerals or other areas and we are not speaking about our projects. And you saw that when we went around in December. Some of you are doing a lot. Most of you are doing a lot. But it is not being seen because we have got a wrong script. We want to take it like the 700 million shillings of development money that we put in wards is just a carte blanche. Because if it is there, we must talk about it. Because every sub-county has got, which is a constituency, has equally almost the same amount of money that a member of parliament gets. So why should they be talking about CDF and we cannot talk about ward-based development? And yet, if you look at it, the amounts of ward-based are even more. Some people want to talk about governor, but they don't want to talk about the opportunity we have availed to you, which is not even there in the constitution, but we have availed it. So that as people's representative, you can sit with the people, make proposals, and have opportunity to discuss with the executive, to avail resources for you to realize what you promised your people. But you can go in funerals and discuss the governor, but you are not discussing about yourself. And yet, there is no legal instrument about ward-based. It is purely an executive decision to devolve development so that you can identify projects. At the end of the day, the executive has to implement. But we have given you opportunity. Identify projects in your area, prioritize them, work with the departments for implementation. But we don't. And I want to offer another opportunity that in the next 2 years, we can work together. That the 1.4 billion that we can avail through these ward-based programs, plus enhancements from departments depending on the needs, it can make a difference. And we are going to avail that as a county. And even before I reach on roads, I want to thank you, because most of you appreciate that if there's one program that has worked well, is that road program, which is again ward-based. And we can do that for every sector. Today, you members, we can sit down and say, at least each ward should have 3 ECD classrooms, or even 5. And within 3 months, we can deliver that, just the way we have delivered the road thing. So it is within us. I can tell you that it is possible. Today we can walk out of here and say that we want, through the word-based programs, to deliver A, B, C, D, 3 products. And those 3 products, I can assure you, will deliver in less than 6 months. And it will change our fortunes. It's within your powers, working together. Another area that I've said in poverty fighting is the issue of SACCOs. The reason most of our regions are wallowing in poverty is because of that, what is called the Devonshire White Paper of 1923. Almost more than 100 years ago. And we cannot blame it further. We can only blame Devonshire White Paper of 1923 if we are fools. Because we know how it disadvantaged us. So why do we need to follow it? It is our duty to say revolution is offering 15%. At the national government, we have 85%. Busia County is part of national government. We need our share of 85%. And we need to make SACCOs vehicles of economic development. And I have told you that in each ward, we need a SACCO. At least one. Just have a SACCO. Even if it's of 500 affiliated or 1,000, and I'm happy now that we have passed the Cooperatives Act, which we inputted. We had our concerns, but we did something. We can work with it even if it's not 100% perfect. So, you are the leaders. What stops you from organizing your people to have SACCOs? As I speak today, we only have got 21 registered SACCOs. Yet we have got 35 wards. Why? If you don't have an economic activity in your ward, what are you doing? What are we doing? Because we have only 22 from the report I have. What happens to the other almost 14? It means your people are so rich, they don't require anything. Currently, even under NAF CDP, we are giving $1 million shillings, another 700,000 to promote and train these people. Your ward does not need this. Members, let us please also look at that. On the issue of the county aggregation and industrial park, I'm sure, and the export processing zone in Nasewa, I want to report to you that at least the national government has honored its bid to give us the 250 million. And the last batch, I think they are supposed to be giving us any time. And we are also supposed to do ours. So we have agreed with the contractor that he needs to fast track, because we have also said that Busia will be the first place, just we were the first ones to start. It will be the first place to launch that. And through that process, the other day I was also in Ethiopia. I had not gone. I had sent a team. But I was there, and I visited Bole, B-O-L-E, Industrial Park. And I saw 27,000 people employed in that park. 95% of them women. When they go for lunch, you think it's like a river flowing of people. And I believe in my lifetime it's going to happen here. So the only challenge I saw there that there was no backward integration. The farmers were not producing. The farmers who are benefiting were from India, Bangladesh, because instead of them growing their own cotton and bringing the yarn there, they were bringing finished yarn. But we want to correct that. So it is you through your cooperatives to help our people produce cotton. We have the only two sectors, cotton and edible oils. Because we saw there is a gap, the country is importing. And if we produce, that's a ready market. The country will buy from us. And Busia was earmarked as a county that can do that. So again, as leaders, we can lead our people into economic prosperity. Because for the last 50 years, the only industry that has happened here is sugarcane, which again was facing ruin, trying to help it. But we can make a difference as a county. And we can make a difference, my people. See, people think that things are made. Why should somebody stop you from even growing B2 cotton, then you go and buy mutumba of B2 cotton to be buried here? And yet we can grow cotton and make clothes that can also be buried somewhere else. Kagame has stopped mutumba and he's continuing. In Kenya we have said we can do it. So I want to urge you, please, let's form these circles and support our members to continue. Lastly, I want to inform the members that we had also agreed with the national government that after these projects are finished, Busia should be the first one to host the lounge. So we had agreed with His Excellency the President, William, that he'll be visiting Busia either by June, latest August, to launch these projects for the region and the nation. So tusaidiane na nini. Siasa ni siasa, but remember when there's a government, just like you are the elected leaders, don't try to illegitimize somebody else and you think you are legitimate. The fact that you are legitimate through a process that everybody was subjected, let us just use it. If nature will decide otherwise, then we'll deal with it. Wewe unataka kusema the same process that legitimized you as a member of county assembly, as an MP, as a governor, you tend to think it has not legitimized somebody else. And yet we were all subjected to the same thing. So let us separate sengine siasa na uongozi. Because you cannot be legitimate when the same process that makes you legitimate, you are trying to say it makes somebody else illegitimate. It's stupidity in my view. Sorry to use that kind of language, but that's what I tend to think. That is the process that has legitimized our institutions. The County Assembly of Busia today exists because of that legitimacy, provided for under the Constitution. The same as all other government institutions. So as we do our politics and we still want to believe that we are legitimate, let us separate those issues. And that's something I made a decision long time ago. We can do political negotiations, we can do what, but the issue of legitimacy is based on the Constitution. So, as we embark on this, dear members, we have a vision. In the last 6 years, we have had these two municipalities, which were not even municipalities, Malaba and Busia. They were just towns. And that's why we have faced a lot of, isolation or segregation when it comes to development, because they had not met the status that were required. So you'll find when you go to certain areas, they'll get resources for urban, for municipalities, for what. But as we will not get, because we are not registered as such. Now we have registered Busia and Malaba as municipalities. I believe it gives us opportunity to engage partners to now make them proper municipalities. But as we do that, I will also say we must come up with an industrial area. And I'll be bringing a document to this house that will be declaring Nasewa complex as an industrial area of Busia. I'll be bringing a document here that will be saying we need a dry port in Malaba for economic activities. And as I had said earlier about that modern market I'll be wishing that as you debate, even in our society, we will know that maybe we have got some historical issues here and there in Bomala because of land issues. I'll be looking forward that you'll be able to address some of these issues. So when we want to make Nasewa an industrial park, there are few. His Excellency, the President visited us here. One, we wanted the 10-kilometer road from Matayos to Nasewa, from Busia, Nasewa, Busia, Kisumu Road to Nasewa to be done. We had also said we wanted the Amukura Butula Road to be done. We had also said we needed a master plan for Nasewa to be done. We needed an airstrip there. We had said we needed reliable source there. They had already advertised for affordable houses there. But without the master plan, I had told them that we may not allocate them any land before we get a master plan because we don't know. They had already advertised for an ESP market, which we were there to launch at some small center there called Benga or Aroma something. Yes, Aroma, something like that. But we needed a proper master plan for a proper industrial park so that then we can leave Malaba and Busia to be like exit border centers. But we need a serious industrial park because we have never had them. Even our municipalities here, you'll be surprised, they are not proper municipalities because I think after 1.5 kilometers, the rest of the land belongs to people. So even to plan a municipality has been a problem. That's why we are facing so many problems. And we will be requiring this house to make hard decisions so that Malaba becomes a proper municipality and Busia becomes a proper municipality, and those who will be affected, they must understand that's the nature of the game. You are not going to be held at ransom the way things are, because it's difficult to even get a developer, an investor, to be a industrial park. But when you go around, land belongs to the people because it has never been incorporated into the municipality. So we expect the relevant committees of this house to make sure that that happens. That's the practical thing that we need to do. So as we do that, as I've told you, we need to create at least a serious industrial area, including bringing the SDR to Malaba and to Nasewa. So to me, I want to tell this Honorable August House, in part of the negotiations that are going on, this is what I'll be putting on the table for Busia. I've consulted the members of parliament, I've addressed you people here, and we can debate it and we can discuss that this is what I'll be presenting in terms of the economic development of this county as we negotiate for the broad-based government for the next 2 years before elections are called. This is what I'll be putting on the table, and if you give me the mandate, I'll be engaging you. But this is already what I have proposed. In addition to all these things that people want to be given some positions in government, but for me as a county, especially for some of us who have been in the opposition counties, in the current negotiation to form a broad-based government, I will go with a blueprint for Busia, and I'll be wishing to get the mandate from you people. So what I'm saying here today, it's a document we had shared earlier, but we are going to improve on it. And I'll be wishing that this assembly, regardless of our political affiliations, will be looking at it and saying, we as an assembly of Busia, we as the people of Busia, as this realignment that is going on, this is what we are putting down as our development agenda, as our political agenda. So to me, these are some of the things that I have already proposed. On the issue of lands again, Mr. Speaker, sir, I think we have acquired legally around 17 parcels of land across the county, some for ECD, some for BTCs, and some for other government projects. But it has also now, we must pronounce ourselves. We will never put any public money on land unless that land is clearly defined as public land belonging to the county government of Busia. That will not happen because we have faced a lot of challenges. So please, any public or county institutions within your jurisdiction, work together with the Department of Lands to make sure that we legitimize and legalize our ownership. Because people change. Mr. Speaker, sir, in our pursuit for cleaner and healthy environment, we are also in the process of acquiring additional land in collaboration through intergovernmental collaboration for sites that will be earmarked for waste disposal and promote sustainable environmental concerns throughout the county. You're all aware that as we speak today, sometimes somebody will tell you, especially some of the service providers that have been given, that they are collecting garbage from Osieko and they come to dump it here in Alupe here in Amagoro. But you know it's not true. They are not doing it. But they charge us for that. And even that dump site is almost next to the Speaker's house, which is not acceptable. So we'll be wishing again the committee concerned, please work together to give us proper solutions. The administration has also undertaken the renovation of sub-county administrative offices and even Malaba Town Hall that need to be refurbished and equipped for our citizens. Honorable members, my administration is also in the efforts to reorganize the towns and municipalities, especially the ones of Nambale, Port Victoria, Bumala, and Angurai, into town status. I do know that will come with some responsibility. So that is what we are also working on. On the area of governance, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, I'm sure you'll agree with the sentiments of Dr. Albert Einstein, a renowned German theoretical physicist, who once observed that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb the tree, it will live the whole of its life believing that it is stupid. Ukitaka samaki apande muti na umweke pamoja na mahene or monkey, I mean it's a mismatch. So I'm trying to say it is important from this famous quote, Mr. Speaker, sir, that virtually everyone is intelligent and gifted in some way. But if they are not utilized appropriately, they will look stupid and simply hopeless. And this is the scenario that our County Public Service Board has to deal with every other often way, whenever they hire and deploy staff to serve our people. One of the main staff management exercises we recently engaged in is performance contracting signing, stipulating that our targeted goals and achievements was achieved towards service of our people. I was the first one to sign my contract, followed by my deputy, the CECs, and thereafter it was cascaded downwards. And the moment midterm review is ongoing. And I like, as I've always reminded my staff, if you cannot measure it, you cannot achieve it. In other words, without clear metrical track progress, performance, it is difficult to effectively control and improve our process and objectives. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conjunction with the Public Service Commission and the Office of the Auditor General, we have also conducted 3 payroll audits, cleansing exercise, whose recommendations we are trying to implement in the NS. This will lead to reduction of our wage bill and assist in streamlining budget gaps on employee emoluments. In collaboration with the consultants from the Public Service Commission, we are at the tail end of finalizing a comprehensive review and update the county staff establishment. Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate that as I speak before this House, and which is something that I have said, and almost 2 years within our administration, and 12 years after devolution, we are still using the transitional authority document. We have never domesticated our staff establishment. And this is what has led to even the earlier problems that I've been talking to you about, health and education. All this assembly ratifies this initiative. It will ensure that Busia County employs the right number of personnel with appropriate skills, clearly define their roles and responsibility. Hopefully then we shall avoid an instant situation where our staffers will be judged on the wrong parameters. I believe once that document is complete, it's going to come to this House to be ratified, because that's what the law says. So it's a document. I've tried to look at the draft, and I'm sure honorable members, without preempting, when it comes to you, you'll see the unfortunate situation we have been in. That 12 years after devolution, we don't have a staff establishment. And you'll see clearly that in critical areas, we have no staff. In areas where things are general, sometimes we have overemployed. There was even a debate, I'm sure, in this House yesterday on some of these issues. But as I said, you can never use a wrong paradigm to solve a problem. You can never. If the paradigm is wrong, it doesn't matter how much you try. I hope when that document comes here, those who are eager and they are patriotic, they'll do justice to that document and put this county on the right track. Because it's not about blame games. It's not about witch hunt. It's about serving the people of Busia and solving the problems. So I really urge members, something that has been very painful to me, as somebody who has worked in institutions before, and I know what it takes when you have the right organogram and you also have got a wrong paradigm. You can put your best efforts, but you'll never move. Hata ujaribu namna gani, you'll be saying the gods have cast you, but you are using a wrong paradigm. You'll be like that, was he called Fascius? First, this guy who was pushing the rock kwa mlima alafu inamrudia. Because he had just a wrong script. Once you have a wrong script, it doesn't matter. You can be the biggest critic, the best eloquent speaker, but it amounts to nothing. It's just noise. It will never help us. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm almost concluding, and we cannot conclude before we talk about agriculture. My government is very deliberate and intentional in its efforts to eradicate hunger and lift our people out of poverty through our blueprint of world-based agricultural sector-driven economic revitalization by implementing the following interventions. Through the National Agriculture Value Chain Development, that is NAFCDP, we have mapped and registered over 142,000 farmers, developed 35 world-based community action plans, and formed community-driven committees, that is CDDCs, in all our 35 wards. This has informed our planning for targeted agricultural practices and arable land acreage. My government has procured another additional 13 tractors to make them 25, but this is just a drop. Kirinyaga is half of Busia, they have got 200 tractors. Yet all our land is almost arable. So members, these are sometimes the things I tell people. the hard facts. We are talking in the 21st century about acquiring 30, 25 tractors. In the 25th century, in the 21st century, when was agriculture revolutionized? The agricultural revolution took place when? Those of some of you who are good students of history. From Mesopotamia, Egypt, sisi ndio bado tunaongea vitu kama hivi. My colleague in Kirinyaga, which is almost half of Busia, they have 200. Those of you who read the Economic Review, newspapers, Infotrack, you see those, or COG reviews on agriculture. I'm sure you see those things. And you can research on it and ask yourself, how well are we doing? Is this even something to report home? People who are saying we need 40,000 acres of cotton, we need 15,000 acres of groundnut, we need 10,000 acres of sunflower. Is this what we should be reporting? People who are saying that through national collaboration, we want 10,000 acres of rice in Budalangi, which we can do 3 times in a year. That gives us like 30,000 acres. Is this what we should be talking about? That power rests with you. How are we allocating our resources? We can either be transformative people, or we can just also pass our way through this August House and say that we were also there. But we can also be transformative and bold. Mr. Speaker, sir, the provision of certified seeds in food crops, edible oils, cotton value chains remains top priority in our agenda in maximizing the production of our county. What is our core competency as a county? When somebody thinks about Busia in terms of agriculture, what is our core competence? We say that we can produce 30% of cotton needs in Kenya. I was in this house when I said Burkina Faso, not Burkina Faso, Benin did it. What stops us? If you go to Benin and compare it to Busia, what stops us? Members, the powers are all within us. When we say we can grow groundnuts, we can grow simsim, we can grow soya, what stops us? But how are we allocating our resources? Where are our priorities? When we make these buildings in Nasewa, are they just going to be concrete and mortar? Or is it something that is going to be a backward integration? This is what I was talking about. That the products there will be from our people and not from China and India or Vietnam, like I've seen in other places. That you can have 20,000 people there, lakini kazi yao ni kusona charani. Mkulima hapati kitu. It's up to us. And it is possible. The cassava plant in Simbachai, I wish next time, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to utilize technology so that as I speak, we can project some of these things to see what is happening in some village communities that are even more remote than ours, and how people are transforming themselves and becoming economic powerhouses. When we are here just talking and thinking that this is just talk. On the issue of fisheries, Mr. Speaker, and blue economy, how have we utilized that economic space? Even the reticulation system here in the ATC has not inspired me the way I had expected. Because I've been to Ghana, I've been to Vietnam, I've been to Indonesia. I know what that thing means. That on 1 acre you can do 100 metric tons. On 1 acre, not even compared to the land that we have here in Busia. You can do 100 metric tons of fish. Calculate that in terms of economic transformation. Na hapa Busia tuko na a lot of underground water. It is us to do it, but I'm also saying where are the priorities? Even the one of aquaculture in the the cage farming in our lakes. You have seen people losing fish because of very small things that are just mapping out the areas because of oxygen, hewa. Sijui wameweka samaki pahali hewa hakuna. So they will come up with local terms, sijui kaliro, kaliro, yani kamoto, meaning that there is no oxygen. That's what it all means. But that is all an issue of environment and pollution. But that can be improved on. And I wish that we are going to do the proper aquaculture parks that are there in Samia, Teso South, Butula, and Kunyala sub-counties. That should lead to increased fish farming. Currently, we have got only 824 farmers that are equipped with crucial skills. But my view, what I saw in Indonesia, what I've seen in Vietnam, this can be very transformative. Because Africa is deficit on protein. Those of you who walk around, you have seen farmed fish from China, tilapia, being sold in Kisumu. And you know, you are not concerned. Samaki, tilapia ambayo imetoka Africa, being brought by Chinese here. And all that fish needs is just water and food. But all our projects have never worked. Again, as members who oversight executive, please, I would urge you. I'm a member of the executive, but I also believe in oversight. Because it just makes you a better person. We have given you these resources, what have you done with it? That's all I'm asking. Oversight the projects that you allocate resources to. Please, don't go in bed with the executive. Don't. And that does not mean that we just make noise for the sake of it. Through the Aquaculture Business Development Project, we have also onboarded 961 farmers, providing them with essential inputs and enhancing their aquaculture practices. Our commitment to blue economy is evident in our continuous efforts. And please, members, yours truly here as your government was the first minister of fisheries in this country. And I'm the one who came up with economic stimulus on fisheries. And sometimes I go on YouTube, internet, and I look at it. And I see people saying that, you know, we benefited from economic stimulus that was started by the government in 2008. From so many other areas. And I want you to just Google fish farming in Kenya, what modern. And I see people who say that we benefited from the economic stimulus that was started by the government. And we have gone ahead and improved, and we are doing 100,000 metric tons, and we are doing this. Yet I have got people here who still behave like the biblical times of Jesus. 2,000 years ago, go and cast your net, and ile utapata ni bahati ya Mungu. Somebody else is making billions. Yet that program was started here by one of my chief officers, Odende, and myself. We wrote that thing in Bunandi there, and we adopted it nationally. And we even had a program for Central Province to teach them how to eat fish. Because ukipika samaki na ile sufuria, hiyo sufuria inaweza suguliwa na omo sijui mara ngapi. But today they eat fish because of they say it's white meat, it's healthy. Yet now they are the biggest producers. And you are here. You are supposed to be agents of change. You are supposed to be leaders. Please, members, let us be brutally honest with each other. We have been given opportunities to lead our people. Let's make a difference. It's not just about politics. It's not just about being elected. Even after you are not elected, you will not die. You still be there. You have been given opportunity. Please let somebody remember that you made a difference in their lives. That is what life is all about. Let somebody remember that you made a difference. This blue economy thing, I even again today happen to be the chair. But I can tell you, out of the 11 billion shillings that was allocated through some program to inland fishery. Around $1 billion came here to Busia, but sijui kama tunaweza kuongea juu yake. Yet we are here to oversight this, but we are busy with things I don't know whether they add value. You know, in accounting there's something they call materiality. Before you embark on something, you look at what is the materiality. So blue economy gives us opportunity because we have got a small part of the lake, we understand fish, we can do something. Livestock, we have got this Kelco project, we need to upgrade on the issue of dairy and even meat thing. And there is a livestock market that is being done in I think Nambale, which we have allocated almost 22 million shillings, and I'm sure if we do well, we are going to spread this all over. Because we want our people to be able to sell livestock, even using the digital platforms. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have also procured and distributed 35 motorbikes, increasing the fleet to 103 in the livestock area for extension services and enhanced mobility in terms of outreach. We have also further recruited 257 agripreneurs to bolster extension services. I'm also happy to report that we have facilitated the formation and operationalization of 35 world-based producers organizations and circles. And as I told you earlier, we are almost giving $1 million shillings per each circle in award. But it will not be the normal business as usual. We want these circles to be the litmus test for world-based agricultural revitalization program. And I'm sure most of honorable members, you have already been informed and capacity built on this issue. They must be transformative. On the area of partnerships and collaboration, we have been moving smartly. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm happy to announce that we are set to launch a major settlement project in Busia this month. This follows our successful negotiation and partnership with the UN Habitat, securing a funding of the Danish government to the tune of $4 million, spanning 4 years, 2025 to 2028. Its aim is to develop border town of Busia, encompassing both Busia and Uganda into a metropolis. The project focuses on improving resilience of county governments of Busia and strengthening the economic status of small-scale cross-border traders, particularly women and youths. We have also developed several proposals, including one of the water supply and waste management projects to the tune of $10 million currently under review by the UN Capital Development Fund. This ambitious project aims at enhancing water production supply as well as manage liquid and solid waste within the municipalities. The information, communication and technology, that is ICT sector, on the other hand, has proved handy in automating revenue collection and providing user support to other departments, leveraging on the digital space and ICT infrastructure, ideally enhanced partnership and efficient service delivery. We are all aware of the challenges facing our efforts to automate our operations. Despite all these challenges, our resolve to automate stands unwavering. I've had a lot of meetings of this area. Our capacity is very low, but we must automate. Even when it comes to being evaluated on the KPSP2, one of the things they are talking about is capacity building for institutions on own source revenue. And members here today, you know very well, even this world-based program is a lot hampered by own source revenue. The other time I had a meeting with some of you and we said, we also want to make you overseers in your words of own source revenue. So that your ward managers will be part of the committee of own source revenue and you will oversight. And we are going to have a discussion with you to formalize that. Because all of us cannot be talking about spending, but nobody is talking about what we are spending comes from where. We want to cannibalize each other, we want to cannibalize a program, you want to remove from this, yet those programs are important. And yet, if we are serious, you can say, as we appoint each other, and it's within your constitutional mandate, to oversight revenue collection in your wards, and your ward managers being members of those own source revenue committees, we can make a difference. And those resources raised, just like we are now talking of FIF, we can have some discussion on how those funds can also again remain there, you know, to support the development of those wards. So we'll be engaging you on this matter. Because, as you have seen, even after the change of administration in America, a lot of our programs have been affected, USAID and all that. But remember, we are an independent country. You can never ask for independence and you want to rely on others. Independence must come with the responsibility. On roads, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to thank you for the leadership you provided to this House and the engagement they had with the roads department to come up with an innovative formula to see how best we can do the ward-based roads program. And I'm sure, members, without going into much, the County Roads Infrastructure Improvement Program, that is CRIIP, in 2024-2025 financial year, that was adopted as a model of consolidating funds, hiring equipment and putting all this together, has enabled us to do 15 kilometers per ward. And in the long run, for the county, we have been able to achieve our CIDP objective of doing over 500 kilometers countywide, that we have been able to do 527 kilometers. Hiyo mimi nawashukuru. If I was allowed to clap here, I would have clapped today. But you can congratulate yourselves. I think that was a very innovative, and I want to thank members. And I hope we are also going to look into other programs alongside that model. Because the people who are disturbing you today, when you go around, they say siku hizi barabara zinalimwa. Wanasema hii inafanyika. And if everything was happening the way this is happening, I think things can be okay. If we can adopt the same for water, for ECD classes, for other infrastructural areas that are possible, I think that will be okay. So let me take that opportunity to thank the Committee of Roads and the Assembly, Mr. Speaker, for that innovative way of delivering services. Mr. Speaker, sir, I now turn to the Treasury, which plays a crucial facilitative role in the activities of the functions of the county government. I'm sure we have had quite a bit of challenges, but we are also looking forward to making sure that we achieve our target for all source revenue, and in collaboration with ICT and other departments, we really want to roll out the cashless revenue collection system, where payments to the county are completely automated, as is expected from us and our commitments that we had made. Mr. Speaker, sir, however, this department is heavily dependent on your support in terms of budget approvals to operationalize its activities, which include your own funding. As a legislative arm of this government, my humble request to you is that let us expedite governance and budget-related obligations in timely, expeditious manner to enable smooth running of our government and service delivery. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you know, the issue of resources are always scarce, and if we don't manage them well, and given that we are not operating in a vacuum, we have got quite a number of other institutions, including national government institutions, the Senate, the National Assembly, that we have to liaise with to deliver. Mr. Speaker, sir, in this area, I will be relying and expecting quite a lot from your guidance for that crucial committee and this honorable House to guide that process in accordance to the law. Mr. Speaker, I've had quite a bit of unfortunate incidents to be asked that why did you sign the budget if you felt that some things were not complying with the law. Because the budget making cycle takes almost a whole year. And the law is also very clear in terms of the PFM Act and the County Government Act on what we need to do. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, it has come to my attention that some members, very junior members of the executive, have not been doing what is supposed to be done to bring to our attention fundamental strategic and policy changes on the budget making process, even when they are proposed. And a lot of times, you know, we are always told, oh, there's time constraint, we need to do this. But Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you before this House that we will comply with the law as stipulated in the County Government Act and the PFM Act, so that we don't end up in the situations we have ended up in. Please, we are here for the service of the people of Busia. And as leadership, there are things we can discuss before we put them in our legal instruments, so that they can be legitimate and legal, both from the executive side and the legislative side. Because if the budget making cycle takes a whole year, the law should be very explicit on who should input what and what needs to be done, all the way from our CIDP, our ADPs, our county strategy physical paper. We cannot go through all those processes and appear that the final document doesn't seem to respect all these other policies. Our CIDP, our annual development plans, our county physical strategy paper, we need to make sure that all those things are put into account. At the end of the day, we are all working for the people of Busia. But Mr. Speaker, even if you look at some of the problems we are grappling with, especially in the key departments of education and health, because of historical problems, there have been omissions that brought us to where we are. As I speak here today, the Department of Health, we seem to have under-budgeted for it so badly over the years that to try and streamline it with all these things they call ceilings and all that, it has become a nightmare. You need to do service delivery. But then somebody is asking you, how do you change a budget by almost 50%? A department that has been maybe getting 1.6 billion, 1.8 billion, all of a sudden you are saying they need another 1 billion. All of you know, exercising prudence and physical discipline, how difficult that is unless it's a project. But at the end of the day, it falls on us to make a decision. But Mr. Speaker, if you look at it, this has also happened because of lack of that physical discipline and adhering to the law. Nobody is above the law. We cannot appropriate ourselves or appropriate ourselves things that are completely outside the law. And I've been looking forward to you, and you know it, that we have even been discussing with the control of budget As I speak here today before you, you know that we are supporting what the county forum has raised in courts about their ceilings. We all feel, just like counties, we have also been going to court about the ceilings, about the revenue sharing formula. The other time I was told Busia we were being underfunded by 800 million. The next time somebody else comes up with another formula. But we ourselves have never sat down to discuss some of these issues. And as a county, from posterity, put it in the Hansard and in the memory that this was our presentation on the revenue sharing formula. Because from 800 million, we were again reduced to nothing. And you look at it that even as the county assembly forum are going to courts and arguing, we are not looking at the bigger picture. That even Busia as we stand today, as a county, are we really getting our share? If there were historical mistakes, people have gone to courts and they have been corrected. Even censors have been nullified and said they don't apply to allow for justice in certain places. So we also as leadership need to engage a little bit much more. Instead of appearing that we are cross purpose. Sometimes we are talking about the same thing, but we want to appear like we are talking different. Because if the other time I was told in this formula, Busia was being underfunded by 800 million. Now all of a sudden, again, I'm being told there's something else. Now all of a sudden, we want to come in and say, you know, why is the executive going over the ceilings of the assembly? I may not put certain things on record here, but I believe we are going to have a meeting between yourself, the speaker, and the leadership here, so that we iron out some things. So that things that are not beyond us should not appear to separate us. Because we would rather be partners in pursuing justice than appear that we are at cross purpose. Because we have been told, and I'm sure some of you, I mean it's in public domain, that why is the executive raising the ceiling of the assembly without authorization? And you know why. So we will need to discuss some of these things in details. So that is what I can say about the finance department, so that we don't find ourselves. Because last time we were in the Senate, we were even asked to surcharge previous members. So then you say, how do you surcharge an individual on an institutional issue? Because it was the institution, not the individual. So we need to be discussing that further, Mr. Speaker, without going into a lot of details here today, because I'm sure we don't have all the facts to discuss what the Controller of Budget has recommended, and the matter which is also before the court, what the CRA has recommended, what between ourselves and the executive we can discuss. Because I believe we are a government, just like we say, we can have ward-based programs. It doesn't matter whether you tell us there is nothing called water fund or what, but we are, as we are saying, it is ward-based programs. So the issue of legality or what does not arise, because to us is ward-based programs. We are not talking about ward fund, we are talking about ward-based projects. And I think through that, anybody who wanted to go to court to stop that, I'm sure we have not been served, which means we may for now have avoided those who wanted to take us to court over that matter. And I'm sure you're all aware that we were being taken to court over that matter. But we said, no, we are talking about ward-based program. These programs are still being implemented by departments. It's not the MCA doing it, they are just proposing. So we were able to get forward. But if we had said, oh, it's ward-based, is the MCA doing it, then we would have been taken to court and been. But I'm sure now that my county attorney has not told me anything, I believe sisi tutaendelea na hiyo maneno. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of water, we still have got quite a bit of challenges. We have also earmarked embarked on some flagship projects in Port Victoria, Sisenya water supply, in Bunyala. They say water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. So that, I want to thank this House, it's ongoing. We also wish to bring to the attention of this House that through collaboration with our development partners, which are both the national government and others, we also have got the Malaba Water Project, which targets almost 130,000 households, which was launched by His Excellency the President. I know that we are supposed to do reticulation to a tune of 300 million shillings. I'm still trying to push. If that amount has not been put in the national budget, we'll be coming to this Honorable House to at least start off, to get some funds to do the reticulation. We have been told it requires around 300 million shillings for us to be able to do that. And we are still pushing, just like I told you, together with what I wanted some allocation for the Malaba Modern Market. But I'm happy to report that the other project was finished. The little bit of political bickering that was there between ourselves and Bungoma County, I think we seem to have overcome it. We just said, all these are Kenyans, all they need is water. There's nothing political about water. Unlike what I've seen in other counties in Murang'a, where there have been quite some serious issues. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, under the FLOCA program, we're also supplying some major water projects that will be able to mitigate in some of the 7 sub-counties that we have currently in Busia. Additionally, the 24 projects that are waiting supplementary budget, which if completed will be able to provide at least 120,000 residents with adequate and reliable water. And that's across the county. That is the FLOCA project. In the energy sector, Mr. Speaker, we allocated 154 million shillings under the matching fund with the REREC, and I think Busia County was the highest in the country. And we also want to be grateful that after we allocated that, we were able, through again development partners, to get the 1 billion shillings to mitigate on some of the areas through the development partner. So other than our 154, with the REREC, we have got another 1 billion shillings, which is being again implemented by development partners. And as you are aware, Mr. Speaker, we have made a deliberate decision in this county. There is no person for county and there is no person for national government. So where the MPs want to play a leading role, to me I have no problem with that. Even if the function is devolved, like markets, some of these issues, I have no issues. That's why I told some of you, please just bring your proposals. We will be able to sit with the relevant development partners and say this is what is coming from the county. So that if MPs, unajua these siasa zingine watu wanataka bonga point. So I thought, to me that should not overshadow service delivery. So I would really wish on that facility of the 1 billion, the last mile thing, that those of you who have got wards, we had already instructed the department concerned to liaise with you to see which areas you still have gaps within your wards. So other than what we are doing in terms of matching, which some of you allocated funds, which Busia we did almost 154 million, which was the highest in the country, we can also look at this 1 billion, how does it help you? So please don't delay and say you're near MPs, because mambo ya rural na nini, hiyo ni mambo ya wards. So for myself, I made that deliberate decision that I don't want anybody who wants to bring development, they are welcome. Bora benefit wananchi. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, also to add that we have constructed the County Climate Change Information Hub, which serves as a central resource for climate-related and data and community engagement. Those are issues. Climate area is a major issue for us that we are still pushing. On the issue of gender and sports, Mr. Speaker, I would wish to appeal to these honorable members to encourage our people. Of course, we don't want to be ranked as a county that has got gender violence. I really wish that members within your committees, you have got committees or subcommittees that deal with these issues of gender violence. Because we don't want Busia to be categorized in that manner. The stories coming from Busia are not very good. So I really wish that you work together with your committees to make sure that we get out of that. Only recently we observed 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, during which sexual and gender-based violence policy was launched, providing a comprehensive framework to prevent and address GBV. We have also secured land at Busia Polytechnic to establish a dedicated reporting center for GBV survivors. We may not know it, but it seems to be a problem. Even yesterday, no, the day before yesterday, I had a group of some women who came to see me from a neighborhood here in town. And they were telling me these things like it's normal. That you know, when we do these things, we are beaten, we are coerced, we are done this. I didn't believe. And I believe I have come from tough neighborhoods myself. But I didn't believe that these things are still happening here. I had almost like 100 women up at office, and they were telling me this thing. So members, I think we need to see what, I think Tony, one of the members here, was there. These are things we need to address, because they told us when they behave in a certain manner, they are beaten, they are coerced, their husbands are exiled. You can't believe this is happening in Busia. Yet this is not culture that some of us can relate with, because I have never known such a thing can happen. But I saw some of them truly, they looked traumatized. So our members who are here also to make sure that gender issues are addressed. You have got a platform to address these issues. Please let not this House finish its term without you addressing some of these issues. But I will also be calling upon us collectively, because this is our problem. It's not just, sometimes when we talk about gender, people think it's just women. Okay, majority are women, but remember these are also our children, they are our mothers, they are our sisters. So I really wish that we are able to deal with that. And I would also wish that that gender policy that is aimed at promoting gender equality and disparities is also properly concluded. I also want to say, meanwhile, we are also building programs to empower the young leaders through the British High Commission and the United Kingdom Digital Access Project, UKDAP, that was launched. It has been able to access 190,000 citizens, including 10,000 young people. I think they also, the other day they came to tell me, I'm seeing this is 190, but they were talking of 350. And we needed to have that evaluated. I'm happy some of you had told me that even after we went around in December, that we needed to evaluate what we saw. And we must do it in this quarter before we finish. So that we evaluate what we saw, so that as you finish the supplementary budget and you go back to the ground, we'll be seeing, are we addressing the issues that people told us in December? Because we went through your words. And I told you what we need to do. So I've told my team that we'll be, after this, we'll be needing to meet so that we can go through that evaluation and also look at the next step. So I want to thank the British team, that's our development partners, because you remember this is something that we lobbied last minute, and it was only Busia and Mandera that were put in this program. It will be coming to an end this March, and we expect after evaluation, that report should come to this House, and we can use it to again go and renegotiate with those development partners, because it's about citizenship. When they say 190,000 people who are reached, we need to see that. When they say 10,000 young people who are reached, at least I can attest that the agripreneurs were trained on this one. Because I'm a bit keen on agripreneurs, because I've got people who want to do the blue economy, agribusiness, whom I'm also working with as their patron in my private capacity, not as a governor, because I'm also interested in those things. I'm also doing it. Because I'm saying I need to do 1,000 liters of milk, I need at least to do 10,000 tons of fish. At least those are things that I'm saying I, in my own capacity, as a citizen, a private citizen. So I'm also a member of some of those groups. So I get to sit down with them and listen to the kind of challenges that they are facing. We also want, Mr. Speaker, sir, to thank the KICC's partnership in terms of promoting business tourism. We had Mrs. Tourism Pigeon Trail, which highlighted the attractions here, and also the inaugural Governor's Cup that fostered community engagement. We want to thank our teams have been doing very well, even in the Kenya Inter-County Sports Cultural Association. I'm told in the games in Uganda, Kampala, we seem to have done very well, and I think we can applaud them through your provision. Unfortunately, it came when we were also, some of us were engaged, but I want to thank the delegation led by the Speaker and those who were presenters, because some of us remained behind here to do a little bit of politicking. But I'm told they represented us very well, and very soon they'll be coming to give us their trophies. Mr. Speaker, I cannot conclude my submission today without acknowledging also our various partners, which of course includes the national government, as I have said. We all, just like we were voted for the 85%, we must claim our share. So we have got just another 2 years, we are going to be subjected again to the mandate of the amendments. But we have a law. You cannot do amendments. But we have a law. You cannot have a law. Just like the one on revenue collection on trailers. We are still going to revisit. I was only a trade committee. Don't lose focus. We must still revisit. Because it was just a temporary thing. That's the law of the county. It must be implemented. Because we are not a lesser government. We only stepped back to allow a bit of consultations so that we don't seem to be contravening international law. But it doesn't mean that we should not implement, because the Constitution gives us that mandate. So we are going to revisit. So as I said, I was thanking those people. Mr. Speaker, sir, again, allow me to conclude by, as I said, by acknowledging our partners, the great role of support from this assembly. I don't think we have had anything in this assembly that you facilitated. We want to acknowledge that. The only thing we'll be asking is those pending issues, please. And I have talked to the leader of majority and the county secretary, and of course the speaker, that we need to liaise. There are some matters that have been pending here for quite some time that need to be expedited. So I believe that the relevant committees will pick up those matters, as we'll be picking them up with you to make sure that they are all expedited. But I want to thank you, because on issues of development partners, you have really facilitated that. You have seen there are counties that have never been incorporated with development partners because they were unable to pass the laws that were really required. But this county assembly has done so. Despite any other challenges we have, Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for that, and the members here, that you have put Busia people first. And that's what is important. This is not about our personal issues. This is just that the mandate the people of Busia have currently given us. After this, sometimes we lose the exit and allow others to proceed. So I want to thank this House for living up to that. All those bills that are pending, please let's fast track them. Some of the issues that we say we can administratively discuss out of this, let us discuss so that we don't delay service delivery to the people of Busia. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, with my fellow politicians, I reiterate once again that, yes, we have challenges, but, Mr. Speaker, one of our greatest human philosopher, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., once said, the ultimate measure of a man or a woman is not where he stands or she stands, here very well, his children are good, but we were buried in Njoro where he just acquired the property later, finally to Busia. That's what Kenya is all about. Not these small things. We are not going to allow this country to be balkanized into tribal communities, that you wewe utafanya chama yako ya kabila yako, then tukuje kwa meza. That will not happen. From my experience, I know it will not happen. There are national parties, and the Constitution expects national parties. They say you must have a national party, not a tribal party. So, on my side, I just wanted to say that for clarity, that we expect Kenyan nation to be preserved. We expect that the economic hardships that our people are facing, even as we form a broad-based government, must be addressed. We expect those things that have been done extrajudicially must stop. That's what we say. For those who were in that meeting, they can bear me witness. So, as Busia County and as your governor, we will adhere to the Constitution and the rule of law. So, finally, let me wish our Muslim brethren a blessed holy month of Ramadan, Karim. And Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for according me this. I believe this will be recorded for the people of Busia and